Miguel Lord, host of Life Full Circle Radio. What's good? What's good? What's good? Here in Georgia, we just avoided some tornadoes, and we pray for the people who were affected, who are in south of the city of Atlanta. It's pretty bad. So I'm just thankful that my family's home didn't get destroyed, and praying for the folks who will be affected. So today we're gonna jump into this thing. We've been talking about this for a minute. We're gonna have this Team Plastic versus Team Natural conversation, and so these are two good friends of super producer. We've been talking about this for a minute, and it's a real conversation. So you guys, the marketing is one thing, but we want to have some real dialogue about the lifestyle, both those lifestyles, pros, cons, the drawbacks, the benefits, nutrition, keeping it up. Sometimes you get to surgery and you have a baby, you get pregnant, things happen, right? And so how do you, and I'm just full disclosure, I'm gonna be doing a lot of listening in this conversation because I'm not finna get myself, I did say fitting, I've been down south 15 years, I just said fitting. All right, I'm not finna get myself in trouble messing around with y'all in this conversation. So the super producer is gonna be carrying a lot of this weight, and I'm gonna try to mind my business, but y'all know me and you know I won't. What's up? What's up? What you laughing about?
I'm laughing because this is why me and the intern decide that you don't need to talk during this interview. You don't have to talk. You just need to listen and focus, because that intro right there was like, oh, that was a little dicey.
Because this is a very uncomfortable conversation for me. I'm not gonna lie, because anything. My daughter had already hit me up. She said, "Dad, don't be inappropriate." Like, yo, I'm a grown man. I know how to handle myself in conversations.
Yes, you do, but there's certain topics that you just be like, I'm just gonna say first question that come to my head, and that's not smart. You get mad when I do that, so don't do that today.
I am by far the best interviewer that you know. Period. Point blank.
I'm gonna remember you said that. All right, what's up?
All right, let's jump into this thing because we're gonna have a bit of a conversation as always before we get into everything which is going on in this here world. And so let's jump in. Where do you want to start?
The Speaker of the House vote.
Speaker of the House vote was insane. Go ahead, set it up as I said.
It honestly could have been what? As crazy as it was. It went to 15 rounds. I didn't even know that was a thing that it could go to 15 rounds. Because it was between Kevin McCarthy and anybody else apparently who's not Kevin McCarthy. It could have been Kevin McCarthy and Mr. Potato Head, Kevin McCarthy and the janitor who just happened to walk by. They're like, he'll do a great job. Like, that's how they were acting. Matt Gaetz actually voted for Donald J. Trump at one point.
He absolutely did. He absolutely did.
The Republican crazy hoes, Breitbart and Marjorie Taylor Greene, they fighting now they mad at each other for whatever reason. It was just ridiculous, and it almost ended up in a fight where a man's toupee almost fell off.
My man was about to swing on some folks coming, but all jokes aside, this is all entertainment. This is all well and good. But when it's all said and done, he got the speakership. His crazy behinds got the speakership. And so as we look at where we are now, they're talking about, I think the last thing, it half the time is crazy, especially in Elon Musk's Twitter world. I don't even know what to believe half the time, the alerts that come on my phone. So now he's, I guess he put something up there that he's trying to abolish the IRS. Social Security is under attack.
No, please don't do your Democrat thing. He's not trying to abolish the IRS.
Okay, then tell me what it is.
What he is doing under the Democratic run Biden situation, I'm trying to think of the right word. There was a bill to propose 87,000 new IRS agents to be hired over 10 years. So both sides with this have been annoying to me because everybody keeps saying 87,000 IRS agents. Who needs 87,000 IRS agents? It's 87,000 IRS agents over a long period of time as people are leaving, as new departments come open. I'm personally not for this. I'm already getting hit up. PayPal actually held a check from my client because they've implemented the new PayPal rule where everything that goes through PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, and Zelle either is going to get automatically taxed 25% each time you get a deposit, or you have to put your tax information in so that they can tax you.
Well, there's a lot of money moving around, and just so you know, it's two different stories. 87,000 IRS agents is a different story than its abolishment of the IRS. So it's two different
Yes,
stories.
two different
But
stories.
there's a lot of money moving around in Cash App and Venmo and PayPal and all of that, and you
And as
know,
someone who pays her taxes as an independent contractor,
right?
I always pay my taxes. Like even
Absolutely.
if it's a pain in the butt, if I'm like, oh, I gotta write you a check for $9,000, which has happened, you just write that check. But I think it's weird for people who are like a part-time braider doing
Yeah,
hair to
yeah.
have to fall in the same group that you and I fall in.
Well, let's just keep it real. Sometimes braiders are making some good money, but and we know people in that space, hair braiding, and they're doing better now because of all the apps that are out there that how they're making their money. But there's a lot of people in
Hmm.
the hair and barbers and stuff. They're making some bread, and they've been paying on taxes for years. So, but we'll see. But the thing that always bugs me about the position of the Republicans is that this abolishment of Social Security, this abolishment, how those old people gonna get taken care of? So
There's
what
never a
what
plan. That's what makes it hard to
is
be a
never
Republican
a
sometimes. There's
plan.
never it's never a plan. The same thing with getting rid of
Hmm.
abortions. And when you and I have talked about this on the show,
Hmm.
there's not a plan for this. Like, yeah, we get rid of abortions, great. Babies are alive, yay. But great babies don't grow on trees. Money for them doesn't grow on trees. You have to pay for these children. It's a lot of things that go into it. So
No,
it's
it's
definitely
crazy.
a
That's the thing to
Republican
me.
trademark.
You want to sit up here and abolish Social Security, the safety net for people who paid into this. Now, mind you, this ain't just free money.
Yep.
They paid
Hmm.
into this stuff over years, and now you want to abolish it. Okay, so what are we supposed to? So you just putting it back on the sandwich generation? I guess as Gen Xers, we supposed to take care of our parents. I guess that's the plan. All right. Let's move on. What's next? What we want to talk about next?
This isn't on our list, but we have to talk about it because it almost had me dying laughing. You saw what happened to Angela Bassett's son.
With the Michael B. Jordan thing? Yeah.
I have, outside of slaves, I have never heard somebody apologize so profusely in my life. But let me tell you why this was funny to me, and no one has mentioned
Well, set
this.
it up why he had to apologize.
He had to apologize because he got on TikTok and did the TikTok trend where you tell your parents that a celebrity has
Another
died.
dumbass
So his
challenge. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, so his mom and dad are leaving. He tells his mom, "Hey mom, Michael B. Jordan's dead at 35." And she panics. She was like, and she's from St. Petersburg, Florida, by the way. So she did a
Okay.
black woman panic. And
Hmm.
maybe 5 minutes later, he is on TikTok apologizing profusely from the back of a car, which really looked like a ransom video. Damn near about to cry. But here's the thing that no one has mentioned. This trend can be funny, but not when your parents are actual celebrities who are friends with these people. She's
Yeah, what?
actually friends.
But like, come on, like for real, like exactly, like mind you, this is the same people who just had to deal with Chadwick Boseman. These are the
Yes.
same people who just spent the last 3 years putting out and had to release. They just released this movie that just was emotionally, taxing for all of us. And
Hmm.
your little 16-year-old behind thinks it's funny to sit up and say, "Oh, by the way, Michael
A
B.
man you
Jordan died."
just saw a week ago is now dead.
Come on, man. It's so social media. This is one of those moments where I hate social media. I'm just like, man, what's the joy in saying, "Oh, this celebrity is dead. That celebrity is dead"? Like this
I
is
mean, I get it. I get it. Why it would be funny for kids to do it to their parents. For example, if I walked in and told my mama that who would be weird? Gail from CBS died. She'd be like, "Oh,
mm,
Gail." Gail from she would have a weird little old woman reaction to it. Or if I told her that Loretta Devine died, it'd be like, "Oh, Loretta." It's that
I don't but
reaction.
see. I don't play with death.
If I told you that Flavor Flav died, how would you react? If I said
I
Flavor
would
Flav
be
is dead?
upset. Public Enemy is one of my all-time favorite groups. Nation of Millions is the best hip hop album of all times. I would be crushed. Flavor Flav passed away, especially if you no. This is I don't
Okay,
get
I'm
this
sorry.
humor that you guys have. This is not.
I
I
don't
don't
have
get
them
it.
saying that it's okay for everybody to say somebody died, but like it's just stupid. Okay, Soldier Boy. If Soldier Boy died, how would your reaction be?
I would. I'm not. I don't wish death on anybody. When it comes to let me tell you
Boy
how
is
far I
different.
take it. Let me tell you how far I take it. If I was ever back in the day wanted to call out from work or anything, I would never say I'm calling out work because my grandma's sick today. Because if my grandma gets sick today, then I'm gonna be real guilty because I lied about something and it came to fruition. I'm just built like that. You know what I mean? So when people be like, "Oh, Flavor Flav has died," and all of a sudden he died, and I'm gonna be like, I put the
Speaking
karma out
of
there.
deaths everybody made fun of, that's a horrible segue. But
It-
Diamond from Diamond and Silk died.
Yes, this is a horrible segue. Yes, go ahead with your horrible segue. Go ahead.
It's not funny. Ooh, it's not funny. It's very sad.
But oh my God, it's so many people. Talbot Swan, the dude to be on social media, he was posting about it, jokes, and people were in the comments.
That's why I'm laughing. I've never seen people be so mean about somebody's death, not since Herman Cain died. And I think she died of COVID. She had a heart condition due to COVID because she had COVID over Thanksgiving. But people are roasting this woman and she's dead. I didn't like Diamond and Silk. I thought they were a horrible representation of Black Republicans, as I am a Black Republican.
Right.
But I don't want that woman to die. I just want her to get a better lace front. That was the extent of me caring about Diamond and Silk. Get better hair and stop. But
yeah, just stop. Go do what you're gonna do. Go on back to managing the Waffle House or something. Whatever it is that you do. But when it comes down to what?
Not managing the Waffle House. Did they really manage a Waffle House?
I have no idea.
Okay. If they ever look like two heifers who would manage a Waffle House, it
right.
But
I don't.
Diamond is not even her real name.
Yeah, they posted what her real name was, and then of course of all people, it was Donald Trump who supposedly made the announcement. Do you know anybody that's on here? What is this? Truth Social? Do you know anybody that's on Truth Social?
Not personally. I don't know anybody who's on Truth Social.
Mm-hmm.
Truth Social is basically you got kicked off of Twitter and you ain't got nowhere else to go, so you go to Truth Social. I have not been kicked off Twitter yet. Just suspended about a bad joke about Kim Kardashian, so I'm good.
All right, let's move on. All right, so we've got a. What time did you tell our guest to come on so we know we can get our segment in our homework segment?
We got 10 minutes for the guest come on, so we can go straight into.
But look, before we get that, we got a couple things. So this story came out about the T.I.'s wife, Tiny, and so let's go to this.
Do we not have what music? You didn't even put the banner.
Oh,
over
is that
like,
okay? I'm sorry. Let me go back. Let me back up. Okay. So this is officially a how one. Oh, so this is officially a. And for those of y'all, I done messed my little segment up. All right, for those of y'all who wondered about, these are stories we pull from the internet streets, and yes, they are true. All right, I blew that one. Oh well. All right, so here's the story that we're getting ready to start talking about, and this is the story on these OMG dolls, and talk about it. Let's go.
Okay, so if anybody remembers from a while ago, T.I.'s daughter and two other girls had a group called OMG Girls. It didn't last very long. It was a short-lived group. They had one popular song. I can't think of the name of it, but I remember it being a popular song. They wore very bright colored hair. What?
Wasn't that popular? You can't remember it, but go ahead.
But I'm older. I'm an older crowd. I heard it when my nieces would have it on. I'm like, that's cute, and walk on about my business.
You're so ready to be older. You're so ready to be older. You ain't older yet.
Can you put the graphic back up, please? I'm not interested. Put the graphic back up on the screen and make it a little bigger, please.
Go ahead.
And the Bratz doll, it's not the Bratz doll company, but the doll company is actually made OMG dolls. They did not ask OMG Girls for the permission. These dolls look exactly like them. Like you can't see in the graphic. The graphic's a little small. The picture of the girls and the picture of the dolls are the exact same. So Tia and Tiny being mad about this, 100% valid. The fact that the doll company, the LOL company, didn't say, hey, we really want to make dolls out of you guys. How do you feel about it? It seems like a settle out of court, don't bring no drama to your brand type of situation.
Yeah, they need to get sued. They need to get sued. If they put that out there and didn't get the family to agree to it and didn't pay and didn't break off their coins, get sued and break off your coins at T.I. and Tiny because you did wrong. All right, what else you got in the How and What segment?
Apparently, I'm sorry for stuttering, but Shania, I can never pronounce this woman's name. Shania Jenkins Hernandez. If that name sounds familiar, that is Aaron Hernandez's ex-fiance. These two were never married, but somehow she has his last name, so I don't know if she legally changed it. Either way, she had a trust. They had a trust start for her daughter, and apparently she's been dipping into the trust. Even though she's been getting pension money from the NFL, $150,000 a month, $150,000 a year she's been getting from his pension since he passed away. And she's been dipping in the trust, and she shouldn't. And dipping into the trust for bizarre reasons that made the trustee go, now we have to go to court and figure this out. It was $36,000 in maternity clothes. I didn't even know that she had another child. Apparently, she
Mm-hmm.
got pregnant almost right after Aaron Hernandez died, and has a 2.5, 3-year old child. Living expenses, personal spa expenses, all this was under the little girl's trust. She went to the trustee to say, "Hey, I want to take out $10,000 for her dance classes," and the trustee was like, "Yeah, we're gonna pull that all the way back because that doesn't make any sense." It just her whole situation doesn't make sense to me. I get it. You were an ex-fiance of an athlete who died, who committed suicide, who was also a murderer. You might just want to lay low.
Yeah, well, but I don't really think that she's that type of person to be built to lay low. She wants to be out front, and she wants to, and now, man, I tell you, man, the access. You know what? I know people like this existed. I know they did, and it's just with social media now. We get exposed and get it all the time now. I guess.
Look at Bishop Whitehead. We knew there were Bishop Whiteheads out in the world, and now we know for sure they really exist and they out here wilding.
I don't think that's in our list, but Bishop Whitehead want to fight somebody. I don't know who she.
That was on
Who
our
she
list for last week. That was on last week's
Jesus
list of
Christ!
stuff.
All right, what else we got in the Hunt West segment? Let me see what we got.
So I didn't pull the story for this, but
Which
there was
one?
the ghetto fabulousness that was the Gervonta Davis fight. I have never seen that many Negroes getting. If they would have kicked everybody out, wouldn't be nobody to watch the fight. But everybody in the crowd was fighting. Everybody, even Steven Jackson.
Steven
Steven
Jackson was in
Jackson.
there with Steve. The first thing I saw was with Meek Mill, and Meek Mill was out there. And so Meek Mill, here's the funny thing: Meek Mill was talking crap and act like he wanted to fight a real boxer. There was a real boxer in the crowd, and he out there like whatever, whatever. And then somebody showed video of Meek Mill working out, like boxing, and that boy would have got his behind absolutely whooped if it
It
wasn't
was
for all the
sad.
people. Meek Mill, man, you making too much money, man. You got Robert Kraft on your side, and all these people who done so much to help you, and you out in a boxing match in D.C. drunk, acting a fool.
Acting a fool, but you also know he went to Ghana, and Ghana didn't go exactly how he planned. He got in trouble for being in the presidential palace, which he wasn't supposed to be. Recorded a music video there. He also almost got jumped and got his phone taken while he was walking to said stage. So he just needed to yell at somebody. He was feeling a lot of anger, just wanted to yell at somebody.
Meek
And then with
Mill,
Steven
Meek Mill,
Jackson,
Meek Mill is the poster child for the brother who made it after being a wild dude in the streets, and he acts like he still wants to be a wild dude in the streets.
he does, especially after getting embarrassed by Nicki Minaj. He kind of does. But Steven Jackson is the only fight I kind of understood.
Right.
People were trying to watch the Meek Mill's fight. So trying to lean over his wife, and she's literally sitting there minding her own business. And people are pushing her, leaning over her, and Steven Jackson's like, y'all need to back the F up off my wife. Like, y'all gotta move. You cannot, like, and everybody's like, oh, who you're talking to, this and that. It was a
But
ghetto
this is
fight.
boxing. The people who like to go to boxing, to go to
But remember when
boxing.
boxing used to be a classy sport? Remember
No,
that?
never.
What?
Boxing was
That's
never a
not true.
classy sport.
That's not
No,
true.
it was always the thugs in the crowd and the Don King
No.
peoples. And
I remember
no,
I watched one night in Vegas. It was a very when Muhammad Ali fought back in the day. It was very classy. When Tyson used to fight, it was very classy.
no, it was not. They just dressed
Come on.
differently. They put clothes on and furs. They were still thugs and hoods. No, boxing brings out some of the worst people that are in our society because they want to watch a gladiator sport and watch people kill each other in the ring.
So which crowd is worse, boxing or UFC?
I'm sure it's UFC. I don't even watch UFC.
I don't watch
UFC to me is just is like eating pork. I don't want to see it. I don't want to have nothing to do with it. No.
I'd rather watch two hobos box than go and watch
No,
UFC.
it's so bad when they halfway snapping people's arms and no, man, I have no desire to see that. All right, let's jump. We got a couple of minutes before we get into this great conversation today as we talk about the Team Plastic versus Team Natural. That'll be up here in just a minute. But all right, what else we got
That
before
story.
we?
I
That's
was gonna
it.
go with a serious story for Hunwa, but I'm gonna go with a funny story. Shamar Moore is straight. Yes.
I thought you were gonna say Shamar Moore got a baby coming. You started off with Shamar Moore is straight. Lord have mercy. Leave that man alone.
Well, he's got a baby on the way. Blah blah blah. Whatever.
Man,
but I thought
Shamar Moore,
I
Mr.
thought he was gonna
CBS,
come out and say,
CBS's best employee. He's been employee of the year 10 years running, and you should have been trying to clown Shamar Moore. He got a baby coming.
Come on now. We all thought this man is super fine. We've never seen him with a woman before. he'll probably come out as gay. And that's fine. If he would have come out and been like, good, finally, we all know we're happy for you. When's your wedding? So we can all send you rainbow colored flowers. Awesome. Go for you. But the fact that he came out having a baby, it was weird for me. And also celebrity guys, actually people in general, after 40, 45, maybe, y'all got to hang up the I'm having a baby thing.
Oh
Because that's messed
no.
up for the kids.
Why?
What?
Why?
Oh, come on, man.
Why? I'm
Because
listening.
it's damaging to the kid, I feel like you're having a baby at 50, which is nice because you want to have that experience, but the kid gets how many good years with a parent if the parent is that old?
I hear you. I hear you.
I
But
feel the same way
somebody
about Janet Jackson's baby. When Janet Jackson had that baby, it was like at 50. So how
and
many good
hey,
years does that kid get of you?
I saw some video out there too. Janet getting ready for her tour.
Shit.
She's starting to. Now this was just the warm up. And this is the practice run. But Janet's starting to show a little bit of that age. She's
Of
slowing
course she
down
is.
just a bit. She's 56 years old, so she ain't no baby.
She's 56 years old, also the mother of a 6-year-old, which can already wear you out in general.
Yeah.
Now you're trying to go on a tour. We love her. She's a great dancer, but it's going to be less legs and more arms because that's easier to move.
It was a
You go
lot of
back to
arms. It was a lot of arms and
What
pointing
it
to
is.
that dancer and pointing to that dancer. And it was just like, y'all do your thing. Because
I'm
anyway.
just going to stand here and look fly as I point to you guys and pose.
And you know
But I
what?
mean,
That's Janet. That's
weird.
one of my childhood crushes. That's right. Janet was out there fly. Just she was. There you go.
She's
All
so
right.
beautiful,
So,
though. She's so beautiful.
oh yeah. Absolutely, Janet. Absolutely. So anyway, it's my What segment of the week. And if you missed any part of it, you can go back and check us out on the YouTubes, and the Facebooks, and all that good stuff. And so go ahead and text your people. Make sure I know. I think Amy is I think she's chilling in the comments. We're about ready to get you guys going. So, as we mentioned, what we want to talk about today is something, as I mentioned, I'm gonna do a lot of listening today. Because I'm not gonna get myself in any trouble with the super producer, with all the with my daughter, with with my wife. I'm gonna let y'all, but brothers, all right. Here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. While she's getting her people on, y'all go ahead and put some comments in there, whatever questions y'all want me to ask, and then
Yeah,
I'm
to
gonna
the
slip them
men,
in.
please drop your questions because I want to ask, because I want to know this.
And
I
they
want to
can't be
know.
crude. If they're gonna be crude, just
No.
inbox me. If they crude, inbox me, and then I'll try to figure out how to put it on the show, because I can't have it be crude. But but if it's clean, go ahead and drop it in the comments, because there's just a lot of questions that we have. You know what I mean? There's a lot of questions about the process. There's a lot of questions about, man, I went and got my cleaned up today. I got my little cut. This is the bulk. This is the bulk of the cosmetics you're gonna get from Brother Lloyd. I got a
Not for me
clean
in 2023. I made
clean
it very
lineup.
clear,
Uh-huh.
and you look great. I made it clear, and I'm going to be putting my business out in the streets because, and some people know this about me, is that, I've been into fitness for a very long time, but having the twins
Mm-hmm.
was a little bit of a rough go.
Yeah.
And people don't realize, they're like, oh, you look so good. I'm like, yeah, but sometimes this is just shapewear. Sometimes my stomach is not anywhere near where I want to be. And I still work out 3 times a week,
Yeah.
and my stomach is gross. And I am really I'm just going to get lipo. I'm on the lipo train almost. I'm ready to start talking to doctors and start getting quotes because it just, yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and and bring in our first guest. Denetra's on her way, but we. So, Kia,
Hi,
I'm gonna let you
Amy.
go ahead and introduce you. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and let you introduce. I'm gonna move myself to the side because, like I said, this is
Yeah.
gonna be
Move it over. Make some space.
There we go. Amy, I've heard so many great
I'm
things
super
about
shy,
you.
by the way.
Say again.
Oh, please, Amy, stop.
I'm
She just said she's
super
shy.
shy.
She needs to
You're
stop.
shy. Oh, you're right. Okay,
Oh,
shy.
please.
All right. So, I've heard so many great things about you over the last couple of years, but so I'm happy to meet you. And let's go.
Okay, so please welcome to Life Circle Radio, Amy Coplen. She's actually the COO of one of the top franchising agencies in the country, and she's also a plastic surgery aficionado / expert. So I have known Amy since right before she got her surgery, and throughout her surgery journey, almost I've heard about all her procedures. So welcome to the show, Amy. Yay!
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Yeah.
So tell everybody, what made you choose surgery as your choice to get your body where you wanted it to be?
Yep, absolutely. So I had a really big weight gain. Gained probably about 60 pounds. So I was working with a trainer, Denetra, actually. She's one of my closest friends, and she was my personal trainer. So I lost about 20 pounds with her working out. And then I was looking into, hey, like I just wasn't feeling confident with my body as far as I didn't feel good, right? I felt like bogged down. And I'm like, if I keep consistently working out with this much weight, it's probably going to take me another year to get where I feel happy. And I was ready to date. I'm going to be real. That's what it was about. I and feel sexy, and I did not want to wait. So what I did is I went and I got my surgery. Now that didn't really change necessarily my weight, but it changed my proportions, right? It really got that stomach area, which women care more about the stomach area than anything. It's not like your number on the scale. It's just like, we want a flat tummy. So I went and got that done. And then since then, I've continued to work with Denetra, and I've lost another 20 pounds. So I've done a total of 40 pounds lost. And I've had several little I did lipo on my stomach area.
So go through the list of everything that you've done. Go through the list of all of it.
Yeah. Okay, all of it. So I did a BBL, which means they did liposuction around my midsection. They did a fat transfer to my butt and hips. And then after that, I got my arms done. So I've had my arms slimmed out on my upper arms. And then I got my inner thighs done. So that's kind of as far as liposuction goes. I do also get things like I got like a cellulite removal surgery in my buttocks and back of my leg area to make that look smoother. That's also something, if you're considering getting a BBL, it's going to give you cellulite. So you got to think about that, right? Every surgery, the one thing I'll say, it never comes out as perfect as it looks on Instagram. There's always going to be something about it that you're like, hey, I didn't know that, I was going to have this little deformity or this scar or this look. So it does come with those things. I think for me, also do like, Botox, lip fillers. I just got a lip lift surgery.
I was going to say the lip lift surgery.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things in that, so I don't have to do filler anymore. It's a permanent surgery, so now I don't got to continue to do that. I'm always doing little enhancements, but really the big change was I had a really big 180 body transformation on where I had a 60-pound weight gain. Now I'm down to where I'm still 10 pounds heavier than I would want to be. Obviously this year I'm going to make it 50 pounds down. So every year I've been knocking out healthily about 10 to 12 pounds where I'm keeping it off very consistently. And it's just been going down and down and down. It's been 4 years since my first surgery. And I've gotten little things here and there, obviously done, as I mentioned, but that was really the main thing where I had my big transformation. And I will say,
hey, Miguel, Denetra's having an issue getting in. She has texted me a couple of times. She cannot get in. She's saying it's just loading for her. But we'll keep going until she hops in.
Okay.
So Amy, there's a lot of stigma around having surgery and stuff. What made you go, middle finger to you, I'm doing what I want. I do not care what you have to say.
Well, one, that's just my personality in general. That's also why, like, I'm very open about sharing it, right? I don't hide it whatsoever. That's one of my biggest pet peeves is when I can blatantly tell someone's had a procedure done and they're like, oh no, I'm natural. And they try to sell, which, Denetra knows this, they'll try to sell even fitness stuff saying that they achieved that body with fitness. No, girl, you did not. You didn't come out. People aren't born with Kim Kardashian shape. That's not realistic.
Kim Kardashian wasn't born with Kim Kardashian shape.
No, you can't be. Yeah, exactly. You can't be fat in this area and teeny tiny in this area. It's just not realistic, right? So I think for me, it was more so that I wanted to feel good in my body again in a quicker time frame, but I didn't look at it as this is going to solve all my problems thing. For me, it was like, hey, I'm going to do this, but I made sure I had healthy habits before I did it so that I could continue on that journey and continue losing weight. And I do see a lot of people who get the surgery, and like with everything else, you have to do it in moderation, right? It's a slippery slope. Trust me, I'm looking at surgeries all day long like, ooh, I want to do that.
I was going to ask you, does it become an addiction? I was going to ask you, like almost when people get tattoos, you end up like 15 tattoos from your one tattoo. So does surgery end up that way?
I think it does in a little bit. I think anything that you do that gives you like an instant result is going to get a little bit addictive, or it's going to be something where like, oh, wow, right? Now, that said, people do think surgery is quick fix. Listen, I was almost bedridden for about 3 months in this cinched garment. Couldn't sit on
I
my
remember that.
booty for
I
3
will say
weeks.
this, not to interrupt you,
It was
Amy.
not easy.
Amy is the only person I know of. I know several girls who've gotten BBLs. Amy is the only one I've known who has really stuck to the doctor's orders. I'm not going to sit down. I'm going to work all day for 8 hours standing up. I'm going to go buy pool floaties and I'm going to sleep in pool floaties to keep my butt. Do you remember? She slept in pool floaties on the
I did the
airplane ride back.
avocado.
She flew back on her knees. Like, she was like dead serious. Like, no, I'm going to make sure this
How you
BBL
fly? How you flying back on your knees? You can't put a
Oh,
seatbelt
I
on.
did. I sat in the floor with my face in the seat like this, sleeping. I was like, oh no, we ain't doing this.
Oh my God. So can I ask a question yet, Kia? Can I?
Go ahead, because I'm trying to talk to Denetra. Denetra's upset right now, trying to get in. She can't get in.
I have no idea what's going on. I'm not getting any alerts that she's trying to come in. So tell her keep trying. So what some of the questions that we as men have, right, is proportionality. A lot of times, you kind of hear the conversation about, you got this BBL and it's a joke meme out there. You got the BBLs is killing y'all and the thighs don't match. So you got these big butt, skinny thighs. Talk to us about that process of proportionally getting it the right size, and then if you lose weight, if the weight goes up, weight goes down, how you deal with that?
Yep.
Good question.
So I will say, like, to clarify, most of the girls out there who have that, I guess you could say they look like an ant, right? They have little skinny legs, and the big old hips, and the booty sticking out that you could have a picnic on top of.
Right.
They have had more than one round of a BBL. It's actually not possible to get that crazy of a look in one round of a BBL because they can only remove so much fat at a time to move. And then you would have to get one done, let it settle, and then go back and get another one. Now, there are a lot of girls that will do that, and that's the look that they want to have. I personally didn't want to have that look. I just want a flat stomach, and the doctor was like, it's the same price to throw that fat into your hip dips and give you a little bit more of an hourglass shape. And I said, do it, right? So for me, it made sense. But I think whatever you like and whatever look you want is your decision. I don't think anything is better than the other. Everyone has a thing, right? There's some guys that love skinny mini girls. There's some guys that love really overweight girls. Some guys like curvy. Some girls like dark, light. I mean, everyone's got their thing. There's going to be someone for you.
Do you have your breasts done?
No, mine are natural. That's the only thing I haven't done.
I knew he was going to ask that question. I'm sorry. I didn't even ask that question.
I know I get asked it by everyone because I've
but here's why I asked the question. And I swear I'm gonna keep this clean.
Yeah.
The reason why I said questions is I've always, I've been married almost 15 years, right? So the whole BBL thing, I'm out the game, so I don't, I'm not out there in the space. But when women who are pregnant and when they have breasts and they get pregnant, and then of course, I'm always concerned about. It's become so obvious. Your natural is behind the surgery, and then it just starts to look weird. So, so how when you and your community talk through that process, what is the thought process behind? Do I not want to have kids anymore? I think Kia told me you're not really interested in having children, so you don't really have that issue. Talk to us about that piece.
So I don't think it really matters. So there is kind of a misconception on that. It really depends on how aggressive you've gone. Like I said, if you're doing something in moderation and you're not going for an extreme look, right? You're not getting like H boobs, like humongous boobs or humongous butt. All that happens is as you gain or lose weight, you're going to expand and shrink in size, but you're going to keep that shape. Just like if you have a breast implant and you gain weight, you'll get bigger, but they're still going to stay there, right? So of course, like as a woman, we tend to want to be slimmer, right? It's like we like to be more aesthetically pleasing, and it makes you feel good to be healthy and to be slim. So I've seen people gain, I've seen people lose. Honestly, it's not really a factor, especially in today's technology. A BBL is a fat transfer. It's just your fat cells. So there's no real, it's not like your body's going to reject it. I know with breast implants, your body can reject it after time. But other than that, I mean, there's not a lot of risk in it. And they can make it look so natural now that I guarantee you, there's so many women out there that have BBLs and you have no idea because they do it in moderation where it looks so natural. versus it's these girls that do it to an extreme that are being pointed at as that's what a BBL looks like, and that's just
Larsa
not true.
Pippen. Have you seen Larsa Pippen, by the way, what she looks like? Because she swears up and down she's never had a BBL. I'm like, honey, stop it. Like,
It's impossible to not have hip dips. Everyone has hip dips. So if you don't got that little dip right there, you've gotten a fat transfer or a filler.
It's crazy. So as someone who's considering getting lipo on her stomach, because again, the twins kicked my butt, and what would you recommend, or what would be your kind of tips or steps to finding the right doctor? Because we do see women who do go overseas and they end up botched. Even in the States, sometimes they end up botched, or worse, they end up dead. So what would be your recommendations for someone getting surgery? Or the research process?
Yeah, so in the research process, obviously make sure they're board certified, kind of step one. Step two is really go look. Don't just rely on Instagram. So many surgeons are putting stuff out on Instagram. Don't be tempted by a cheap intro price. There's a reason for that intro price. Really just contact them and ask for actual referrals, because people like stealing other people's photos. I mean, and I'm talking about in the United States as well. I don't think it really matters if you go out of country or in the United States if you do your actual homework. I know plenty of women that have done both, and they had amazing, great results in great facilities. I think the biggest thing is just asking for actual references, talking to references, also looking to see, have they made someone over with your similar body type, so you can kind of see and get an idea of what you would look like, and then being able to actually do a consult with that surgeon and really have him give you his opinion. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is asking for references, checking their credentials, that they're actually board certified. That's kind of just some of the basics there, that you would not believe how many people overlook that, right?
Mm-hmm. You have a community. Kia was telling me about. You have a community of women who kind of rely on your knowledge and everything, right?
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about cost. For people, depending, you live in Florida. There are people listening to the show now that are all over the world. Well, what's a reasonable cost, and where do you start getting into the botch category where you might end up hurting yourself because it's too cheap?
Yeah. So I don't know about out of country, so I'm just going to stick to the United States pricing, because everything out of country could really vary based on where you're at. But in the United States, I would safely say that if anything is under, $5,000 or $6,000 for a BBL, you are very likely not going to have any type of post-op care. I'm not saying the surgeon's not board certified and he won't do a good job, but that's what I would call a doll mill. And that's somewhere where they're running people in and out so quickly that they're not able to give you post-op care. And in the instance that you do have an infection or complication, it takes so long to get a hold of that surgeon to get any feedback that you can really get yourself in a bind. It happened to a girlfriend of mine who went in Miami. And so, it's one of those things where you do have to be careful on that. I would say most surgeons that offer great post-op care, where they charge enough that they have the time to do it and they're not doing a crazy amount of surgeries a day, usually you're going to be looking at somewhere between it could really range $7,000 up to $25,000. I mean, but $7,000 to $10,000 is probably going to be the lowest range that you can go for that, and you're going to be safe. A great question to ask is ask your surgeon, how many BBLs a day do you perform? And if it's more than 5, he's using assistants. Don't go with him.
Oh, wow.
A lot of these surgeons use assistants to do the assisted lipo. So while they'll do the BBL part, which is the more risky part, but they're having assistants help them with they're obviously surgeons. They're approved to be able to do it, but you're not signing off on that. They don't disclose that. So for example, there are places where they do 15 to 20 a day. You're telling me that one surgeon did 15 to 20 BBLs a day, which it's very strenuous work. So I've talked to surgeons and asked them realistically, how many could you do in a day? And 4 to 5 would be tops if you're doing everything yourself. So that would be a big question that I ask over anything, and that'll be a really quick indicator on what's going on with that.
And see, that's a good question that nobody would know to even ask. And if I even heard a surgeon say 5, I still would be like, that seems like a lot. That seems like a lot of surgery.
That is on the high, yeah.
But it's even 15 to we do 15 to 20. No, that's awful. That's really, really
surgeon.
bad.
Well, there's some places, yeah.
Yeah, the one thing we haven't done is we haven't shown Amy's before and after photos. I think it's a really perfect time to, because I know everybody's wondering. And Denetra, we're so sorry you could not get in. I'm not sure what
She's come in
happened.
a couple of times. I click her to bring her in, and it kicks her out. I don't have no idea. I've never had that challenge here, so I'm not sure what's happening.
Well, she
Denisha,
went to
I'm
go
sorry.
wash her face and go get into bed to watch to relax. So I think
Okay.
she's listening, but she's like, I'm over it. I get it. But
I get it. I
can
get
we
it.
pull up Amy's before and after photos?
All right, and
And
so
these
here's.
before and after photos, as he's pulling them up, are the reason why I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this.
I can't really look at it.
So as
Do
you
you
can
know
see
how hard
on,
it was for me to take these before photos? So I actually only have these before photos because Denetra was my trainer, and she's like, I need you to take some photos so I can train you. And at the time, we hadn't seen each other in person in 2 years, and I was so embarrassed at how much weight I gained. And I literally was bawling, crying, like taking these
oh,
photos. But it's so crazy now because I'm so glad I did it because, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously, so I lost about 20 pounds from here. I was 192 pounds in that picture.
Mm-hmm.
And so I lost 20 pounds there, got my surgery. And then in the following pictures, I'd lost about another 10 pounds. And so since then, I've lost another 10. So that's kind of where that was in the stage. But it's a major, major difference.
Did the surgery motivate you to be more fit?
Yes, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that's really challenging is when you do gain a lot of weight, it is so hard to go in the gym and not feel like you're being seen as like the fatty in the gym. You know what I mean? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
really hard to like do jump squats and no stuff's jiggling around and people
Mm-hmm.
are watching you, and like it is so hard. And for me, that was like I would just get so much anxiety about just going to the gym, and it was horrible. And so I obviously made myself do it and get over it and lost, a good amount of weight. But really, like now when I go to the gym, I feel so good when I'm working out because I'm like, yes, I know I like what I see now, but I'm just making improvements to that. I'm just gonna keep getting better. I've gotten over that hump of like the insecurity that I feel like other people are looking at me in a negative way. Which I mean, some of them still do, but for a different reason now.
it's jealousy. It's jealousy or wondering if. So I remember you being in the recovery house and you seeing all the girls who weren't maintaining. They were already getting churches and
McDonald's.
really funny story. She called me and said, "Oh yeah, my recovery house is on Miami Beach." She sent me the address. I was like, "No, you're in Miami Gardens." For those of y'all who don't know where Miami Gardens is, it's Carroll City, the
I'm
hood,
in the
right by the
hood.
stadium. And she had no idea. I thought it was hilarious. Like, no, you're in the hood, honey. You're not in Miami Beach. You're by the church's chicken over there by my auntie
Wow.
house.
Oh
The
And she
God.
literally
surgery
was.
center was in Miami Beach. The recovery house was not.
It was not. But you saw girls who were eating McDonald's and just doing whatever they want to do. It's almost like they think it's a magic fix. If you could shake those girls right now, what would you say to them? Like, and even the maintaining
So
part.
I would bet $1,000 to each one of them that they've all gained weight since then, and I
Oh,
like
absolutely.
that they've all gained all the weight back, and they've either had a second surgery or they're pissed that they wasted their money. Right?
Yep.
It's just I see it so much. I would say the biggest thing is, you know, like I said, moderation. It's very unhealthy to do a surgery, gain weight, a surgery, gain weight, a surgery, gain weight. Just like it's
Mm-hmm.
unhealthy to gain weight, work it off, gain weight, work it off.
Yeah.
No matter what, like too much of anything is never good, right? Too
Mm-hmm.
much of drinking alcohol, too much of whatever. Like everything has to be done in moderation. So, yeah, I mean, it's just definitely like maintaining it. Everyone keeps asking me, how have you maintained it for this many years? How are you working out? And there's this big misconception that if you work out, you're going to lose your butt. Like those fat cells are going to go away. Honey, you
Mm-hmm.
had no problem hanging on to the fat cells before. I promise you, they ain't going anywhere. Like they're there, they're staying, planted their roots, and they're not moving.
So is there any to that end, you know, you lose weight, you've got the BBL, the fat cells are not attached, right?
Yeah.
They are put in place. So how do they maintain the positioning, right? Or
How did
does
not
it,
shift?
right?
Yeah, so fat cells don't float around your body. Like once they're in a place, they're gonna stay there. They just expand and shrink. So basically, the reason why it's called a Brazilian butt lift is because Brazilian women tend to have more fat cells down in their hip and butt area than their stomach. Just like different kind of ethnicities, you'll notice they carry weight kind of in a different way based on their genetics. So all you're doing is you're rearranging your furniture, right, and putting more fat cells back there. And as you gain or lose weight, you're still going to kind of have the same proportions. It's just going to expand or shrink. So, for example, by losing weight, have I lost some measurement around my hips? Yeah, a little bit. But I've also lost that same amount in my waist and in my arms and in my back. So my shape still looks the same in the sense of my hip to waist ratio. It's just my overall size is getting smaller.
So
now,
go ahead. Go ahead.
So now he has so many questions, Amy. He all kind of curious now.
So some girls, a BBL is not a fit for if you're someone that has a problem hanging on to weight. So like some girls are naturally really lean, they're really skinny, they can't hold on to fat. If you want that look, you're gonna have to do an implant because once you have to gain weight to have enough fat to transfer. Well, you're just gonna lose all that weight back. It's gonna be gone because it's the only fat on your body. I have fat all over my body, right, in different areas where my body holds it. I moved the majority of my fat to that area. But as I gain and lose weight, I'm still going to keep my same shape.
So, if I may ask, what type of men do you like to date? Who were you now? Who were you looking to attract?
Question. Amy, are you single? Are you single?
In between.
That's not what I thought.
Let her answer my question first. Regardless if she's in a relationship now or not, over the years, what type of men? Whether it be ethnicity, whether it be because here's the thing, and I want to, if it's a misconception, tell me it's a misconception. The belief is that most girls who are Caucasian are getting these bodies because they date black guys or they want bodies that are kind of more like black women, right? And so if I'm full of crap, say it, but I don't think I am.
Yeah. So I will say this: when I got the BBL, I did not think about how it would affect my dating whatsoever. I was focused on me feeling confident and liking how my body looked. I'm also obsessed with Kim Kardashian. You know what I mean? So like, I love her aesthetic. I love her look. And so for me, a lot of the way I dress, a lot of different things I do, I'm a big fan of her. I know a lot of people aren't. I am. Now, when it comes to dating, I have dated everything. I've dated, Asians, Middle Easterns, white. Like my last long-term relationship was a white guy. I've dated black, mixed race.
Wasn't that one guy Czechoslovakian?
What was so interesting is that once I got the BBL done, white men will not approach me. They are scared of the
yes, I remember this. The only guy. What was the one guy?
There was one guy that approached me. Huh?
Please answer her Czechoslovakian question so we can finish, because you was finishing a thought. Was the last guy Czechoslovakian?
Sorry, I'm keep saying that because that was the last white guy I remember. Was he Czechoslovakian or some kind of European?
I don't Czechoslovakian. No, I haven't had a Czech.
You guys went to DC or something? It was when you moved to DC.
She putting her business all out there.
I'm sorry, because it was the last white guy. After that.
But I didn't. I didn't date him. It's just someone that he was the only person I knew when I moved here. Yeah, but I didn't date him. But yeah, as far as anyone I've actually dated, but he was still white. I mean, but yeah, it's definitely been since I've gotten it done. Every person I've dated has either been biracial or black since then, which is so interesting because it definitely I have no problem with that. I like it. As long as you're good looking and you're over 6 foot, you're a candidate, right? But for me, it was just very interesting because I noticed a difference in who was approaching me. Right. And then I had finally, maybe after 2 years of having this surgery, I had a white guy approach me and he's he was very country club looking, and we're in this private cigar lounge, area. It's mostly men in there. He comes up to me and he's like, "Oh, hey, what's your name? Nice to meet you. So do you only date black guys?" That was the first thing out of his mouth. And I said, "I date attractive men. But what's your question?"
That's inappropriate.
Why is it? And this is why this is funny. And I'm glad I was able to step into this conversation because you answered the question that we all want to know. It's that's what is conversation in black circles. It's they just want to, they want to get on, because of course now you get into that conversation about black women and black guys and all that type of stuff. I got one question I want to drop in here from the comments For women, is there such a thing as too big? As he smacks his forehead, at some point, it has to just be for attention. What's your thoughts on that?
Um, I obviously I think there is such a thing as too big in order to look natural. So like most people when they meet me and they see my body, they just don't assume I'm white. They think maybe I'm Latina or I'm mixed with something else or I just don't look like American white in my body shape, right? Um so it's not so overboard that you would be like, oh, a lot of people don't even know I had a BBL because I just screamed from the rooftops. That's how they know, right? I just look like someone who's a little more curvier. Now, if I were to have done it to an extreme, if you want to call that too much, then sure, yeah, there could be too much to look possibly natural or close to looking natural. And I think that's with anything, right? Someone could get veneers that are way too white, and you could call that too much, right? That looks too big.
That's true.
There's
That's
to
Right,
look natural, but maybe to them they like it.
right, right. Hey, great. You got any questions for us? You got a black man here on the before because even though I've been out the game, I got a lot
Can
of
I say something
homeboys.
really quick?
Uh
And
huh.
this is
Yeah.
just because I want to. And he said he's always heard great things about you because I've always bragged about Amy's my boss in real life. Like I
Right.
do the podcasting thing for fun, but Amy's my boss in real life.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so funny. You hear girls who get BBLs and they're always girls. They're stripper, they're dancers, they're this and that. When I tell people, oh yeah, my boss had a BBL, they're like, your boss? I'm like, yeah, she's a CEO of our agency and she does all this stuff and she's also a CRM architect. And they're like, she got a BBL. I'm like, yeah. She had the money clearly, and she wanted to do it. So there are
Right.
women in all aspects of life
Oh yeah.
who want to just feel good. Again, me, I am in the digital space. I've been in this space for a long time. People don't even see me that often, but when I put my jeans on and I feel that flap fall over, it
Hmm.
almost makes me cry at this point.
Yep.
So it's all women just wanting to feel comfortable in our clothes, in our skin. It's just ugh.
I think
Yeah.
women a big like value prop as being a woman or what attracts men to women is an aesthetic thing, right? We want to look and feel beautiful all the time, and even though the guy might love the way you look, it's not about what he thinks, it's about how you feel. And if
Hmm.
that little thing is making you feel a certain type of way, my opinion is go nip it and now you're good to go and you don't have to feel that way anymore. But there's people who will strongly disagree with me, even Denetra, who couldn't show up. She's my
Denetra.
very best friend, literally 17, 18 years, maybe more now. And she's very against plastic surgery. She's an IFBB pro, a competitor, super healthy, works out, like crazy. She looks amazing, transformed her
Hmm.
body naturally, and she is not for it. But she's like, if you're going to do it, just be healthy. That's her big thing. If you're going to do it moderation and be healthy. And that's really kind of it. But would she prefer that I didn't do it? Yes, she would have preferred that I worked hard for the extra 2 years and gotten thin on my own.
And by the way, guys, this is Denetra. We've had Denetra on the show before talking about health tips and how to be healthy and, different really interesting things she brought to the show. But this is Denetra before and this is Denetra after. Denetra came out after looking like a Barbie doll dipped in Nutella. Like, that's how
Right.
amazing and fit she looks. I mean, it's perfection. And I know she couldn't be on the
Yeah.
show, but I remember something specific that she told me that she just was thin but she wasn't healthy. She wasn't
Yeah.
feeling good. Like from this
Hmm.
picture, and she just said, "I don't want to feel like this anymore." And she
Hmm.
worked really hard to get the body she wants, and she's very happy. And that's why she's so pro people doing it the healthy way. I know she's pro macros. She talked about that on the show.
Hmm.
She's definitely anti. What did she talk? Oh, fake meat, Beyond Meat. She's anti Beyond Meats because of all the
Hmm.
Yeah.
sodium and chemicals and crap
Hmm.
they
Yep.
put in it.
Hmm.
She knows how to do it, and we will post Denetra on the Facebook page and on
And,
our
and, and we
YouTube
do we
page
do have
because
the show we had with her a few weeks back, so we'll
yes,
we'll
and we'll
go
post
and you can go
that.
back and check her
She,
out. And we got to have her back, and we got to have you back as well, so we can have that conversation. We've got another comment, which is an interesting one. In the what if your partner wanted to get male plastic surgery in the lower regions? Would you still date him? You look great, by the way.
Sure. If that, I mean, if that's something that is making him feel not great about himself, then I say do it. Like I said, as long as you're not doing anything that's like out of country illegal, that's risking your life, you know what I mean, or doing
yeah,
anything wild, then yeah. I mean, anything that anyone wants to do to make feel better or like be better and escalate and elevate themselves, I say go for it. I know when I did mine, it literally lit a spark in me that I'd been missing for years. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm not saying it fixed everything. It was like that little kind of like catapult or a little boost for me and motivation for me to be like, you know what, I can do this. I can get fit again. I can feel good about my body again. I can like the way I look in clothes again, whatever it may be. For women, that's such a bigger thing than it is for men. Like, women, it really, really, really messes with our mental and physical and everything, just like not feeling good about your body. Some women can be overweight and love the way they look and feel great, right?
Yep.
I'm not one of those people. Whenever I gain weight, I feel terrible. I feel lethargic. My mental's down. My energy's down. I don't feel sexy. I don't want to date. I definitely don't want to be intimate, right? And so by fixing all of those little things, I'm actually elevated in every other part of my life. So now I'm like getting more work done. I'm just happier overall person, period. Because that was the one piece of my life where I let go, right? I got lazy. I gained a bunch of weight. I let it go. And now I've got control over it again. And now I feel great. And it's affected like every other element of my life. So I would say go for it.
Amy, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on the show and taking all of my silly questions. Yeah, of course, you
I
did a
like
wonderful
that. That's
job.
what makes it fun. It'd be boring without it.
Yeah, that's what we try to do.
Very true.
We give a little salt, a little sweet with it. That's we got to keep people engaged. So, thank you so much, sis. We appreciate you.
All right. Thank you.
All right,
Bye.
all right. Let me go to the boom and the boom and the good show.
I just want to first off say I really wish Denetra could have been on the show. I don't know
Yeah.
why we were having technical difficulties. It happens, but having that contrast between the natural and and somebody like Amy who's had surgeries, and both women are so confident in their choices,
Yeah.
and neither one of them are wrong. There's a
Right.
lot of people who are just like, oh, you stay in the gym all the time. Oh, look how skinny you are. Ain't no man gonna want you. Plenty of men want Denetra. Oh, you're getting
Oh yeah,
plastic
of
surgery.
course.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're lazy. You're this. You're that. Like that's just so ridiculous. Yes, but I look good. I'm confident, and I make good money. Like, why are you in my face? It's
Right.
both aspects are
Right.
good. And
Right.
again,
Right.
we just want to feel comfortable in our
It's
skin.
to each his own. And I'm full disclosure, I'm not a big fan of any sort of plastic surgeries. I'm just not. But this was a good education. What?
The reason why I make that face, and I was going to bring this up, but Amy was dropping so many gems outside of my Czechoslovakian spasm for some reason. But men sometimes have been doing things lately with the lace fronts and the Beijing. Y'all out here with oxtail juice on y'all heads trying to look younger, and y'all out here getting lace fronts to bring your hairline back. Like,
compare. See, here's my challenge. Here's my challenge. It ain't about the cosmetic side. It's about you risking your life side. It's about you having surgery. It's about that. I clown people who, so it's, full disclosure, there's a couple times I had a barber that if I didn't catch him, he didn't already sprayed me. I'm like, yo,
he tried to Beijing you?
man, right? You know what I mean? I'll be like, yo, bruh, and so, but to each his own. I know people, I done seen some stuff on these internet streets, man, cats who, so like if you got a whole straight up George Jefferson and you come out next week with a flat top, who you fooling, Playboy? Like, who you fooling? You know what I mean? I like, come on, man. You gonna have to go to another side of town. You may live up in the north side of Atlanta. You gotta come down south because everybody up north know, bro. You had the George Jefferson last week. So it is what it is, man. As long as you're not risking your life, and that's what I don't like. And then the whole thing, in full disclosure, Amy, she admitted once she got started, it was hard for her to stop. It's interesting that she hasn't had her. I haven't paid attention to see how her breasts, but that she hadn't got her chest done, which has always seemed to be that's like the first thing that most women do.
Before her boobs stayed big. Like Amy said, she was bigger before. She was crying in that photo, and because she was bigger before, and they didn't mess with that side of her body, they just stayed
right.
They just stayed big. I mean, maybe she'll do a lift later. I don't know. It doesn't.
But
matter.
But some people say now they're too big, they want to get them reduced. It's like
that's true.
And
Again,
I'm just
something else is on my list of stuff. You have twins. You go from a 34C. I am now a 36 double D. And again, that's a lot of information to give. And I'm not trying to be a TMI moment, but my back hurts constantly because my frame is small and I have all this weight up top. It's hard to sleep. I have like these scars on my shoulders, and I have two twin cousins. Please don't murder me for saying this, but they're in the naturally, I think they're 48 H's or J's or something. They have to get their bras custom made because their breasts are so big and it's natural. So again, for a lot of women, it's not about not every woman. For a lot of women, it's about us just feeling comfortable in the skin. I'm
Right.
proud that I'm a mom. I'm
Right.
proud to be soon to be 38 years old.
Right.
But I just want to feel. I want to be able to
Wow,
wear a
you about to
dress.
be 38? Wow.
I'm about to be 38. You met me when I was 23 years old. I'm about to be 38.
Wow.
But I would like to wear a dress without shapewear. And by the end of the night, my husband going, "You need help getting out of the shapewear? I'll go get the baby powder." Like it's like I want it to not be like that. Sometimes it's when you sweat, it swells up, and then you have to have help. And then you have like shapewear lines
I
on your
promise you.
stomach.
Here's the thing. I promise you that my familiarity with any of that will not be talked about on this show.
Because Tracy will kill you. I'm open. I'm like Amy about it. Like when people are like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, you look so good after the twins," I'm like, "Yes, like I bought brand new shapewear, and everything's wonderful." Like I'm
Right.
cool with it.
Right. Right.
But again,
You know, it is you know, it is what it is. But it was a great conversation. I hope everybody was. If you missed any part of the show, this is a good one. Go back and we'll drop the interview separately. Thank you for the folks who jumped in the comments. To my man Sean Lovell, I was listening to Sean right before the show because man, it's my boy, man. We grew up together, high school together. He's a great DJ, and so he jumped in. So I appreciate him jumping in the comment. My man T, he said, "Don't waste your money." Talk about it. Amy, before she came on the show, she was talking about the boxing. She agrees with you. Boxing's definitely fancy and bougie. I don't agree. Nope. It's hood.
It is. I'm with Amy because I've been to one live boxing match. It might have been a Tyson fight or Floyd Money Mayweather fight, but it was in Vegas, and I remember dressing up. I remember looking good. I looked
Oh no,
good.
no one said. You know,
like,
thugs know how to put some clothes on. Now, don't get me wrong.
You stop. You're making it. You were like, hey, they still when they gonna drive out of a box Chevy.
I think Amy's still hanging out with us there. She's still hanging out with us. Me too. I was like, baby powder. You're right. Well, his face in the baby. Right. I was like,
you should like when we got back home from New Year's Eve. Again, I have no problem telling this story. I literally was jumping out of it, trying to pull my leg out because we had been dancing all night at a Caribbean party.
Yeah.
At a Caribbean party.
Yeah.
There's no AC at Caribbean parties, no matter how nice the houses are.
That is so prejudiced. Oh my God. So now the Caribbeans don't turn the air on? What the hell?
They do, but it'll never work. I don't know if it's because of the liquor, because everybody in the room dancing closely, banging on the walls. We're whining, dancing, my husband all down and stuff. When we got home, I'm so sweaty. Getting that off, it was like getting off a bathing suit after you've had it on for 9 hours. I was like,
all right, so anyway, great show today, man. We appreciate everybody who tuned in. Anything you want to talk about before we bounce up out of here?
The only thing we have, and this is going to end on a positive note, is Damar Hamlin is out of the hospital. He is back home. That was something we wanted to mention. It was so exciting. He's doing well. The one thing I was a little weird about was they said that he is healthy enough to go home and return to the Bills. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't hope they don't mean like return to the Bills to like play. I hope they meant to go see your teammates, and that's it.
Well, he went back to Buffalo to the hospitals in Buffalo. He's back home. You know, you don't want to be in Cincinnati. Your whole life is in Buffalo. He probably has his family there, and so he's closer to home, and that's just one step closer. But, you know, I was watching the NFL. You know, the playoffs are coming up, and it's been some stuff that's happened this year, man. You talked about this last week. I think it was you talked about it. You did with when we had Wayne on with T.J. Watt, who not T.J. It's TJ's 3 Watt brothers in the NFL. I think it's T.J. He just retired from Arizona.
JJ Watt. JJ Watt.
JJ Watt. JJ Watt's in Arizona. TJ and his other brother in Pittsburgh. But JJ Watt retired, and we were all in the moment. We're like, man, JJ Watt retired. Why would he retire? And we forget he had a heart attack earlier this season, about halfway through the season, and played that Sunday. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes these football players got to be saved from themselves. And somebody, probably his wife, his family said, that's it. We got to move on. We got all the money we need. There's plenty of opportunity. J.J. Watt is a great personality. He's going to do a great job, and whether he wants to go on television or pitch man or whatever, he's going to be fine. It's
And
time to
props
move
to
on.
JJ Watt for listening to his family. I know
Yeah.
we have Tom Brady who did the opposite. He was like, "You want to divorce me because I won't leave football? Fine, divorce me." And it's like, yo, what? Like that just it's
Tom Brady got
anyway.
rules.
We
There are
should be
rules
more
in
than
there.
that.
There are rules that you can't hit Tom Brady. That's just against the rules of the NFL. That's like rule number 29.743. You cannot hit Tom Brady. If you touch him, we're
Okay.
ejecting you from the game. Anyway,
All right.
great show today. Appreciate you, Denetra. I'm sorry, sister. I don't have no idea why you couldn't come on. I saw you pop in a couple times, and every time I brought you in, it bounced right back out. I have no idea why. I'm sorry. If that was something, I don't know, software was tripping today. But we're gonna bring you guys back on and talk about this further. If anybody's first time tuning to Life on Circle Radio, follow us on the YouTubes and the Facebooks and the Twitch. We're on Twitch today. I think I even ran us on LinkedIn. We might be on LinkedIn today as well. Great job today. And so we will see y'all next week. Let me see. Where's my clothes? Where's my clothes? Where's my clothes? Where's my clothes? Peace and a bye
Is it
bye.
stripper music again? Is our stripper music? Is it outro music? Stripper music?
I'm not doing the stripper music.
Okay. Just saying.
Goodbye.